Hello everyone, how are you guys doing? Prince Adu-Appiah here, and I'm excited you're joining this episode. Today, we are heading to South Africa. Rajiv is an experienced corporate professional with more than 12 years of experience within the financial services industry. He has worked at 3 of the 4 big banks in South Africa and is currently a senior specialist at Absa Capital. During his tenure, Rajiv has built complex financial models and led the implementation of multiple multi-million rand strategic systems and technology solutions end-to-end across the African continent. He has traveled extensively to many countries within the region. Rajiv is a skilled product owner, change manager, and has a passion for data, infrastructure, innovation, technology, and venture capital. He is passionate about education and in developing young future leaders through making a positive, sustainable change to society. He has developed a financial literacy game called the Mali with the Actuarial Society of South Africa to teach students the impact of financial decisions. He has also been involved in numerous other initiatives and has been a mentor to many young individuals. Rajiv is a financial director of the Brightest Young Minds nonprofit organization in South Africa, which educates Africa's future leaders on entrepreneurship. I believe our conversation today with Rajiv will be an informative one. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe. This is your big leadership lesson. Rajiv, I'm super excited to see you today. It's been ages. It's been ages since the year 2016 when we both were at a conference in Sandton, Johannesburg. Later on, I think you visited Ghana where we met. We shared a couple of ideas. We tried to catch up. And here we are again. I'm excited to have you on your big leadership lesson podcast. And thanks so much for accepting to be on the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity of thinking about me and letting me share some of my experiences. So it has been a while since we've interacted in 2016, and I did visit Ghana for some work in 2017. And since then, I've been following you and the work that you've been doing in Ghana, and it's some really brilliant work. And hopefully you can speak at one of our BYM summits coming up. Cool.
Yeah, thanks for that. We're keeping on. So, if you don't mind, would love to just kickstart. I'm dying to know your leadership lesson. I know you have a financial background. In South Africa, your educational background is deep in the financial, actuarial science and all that. And you're part of many societies, part of the leadership of different actuarial societies in South Africa and so on and so forth. I also know that you have passion for social projects, for impact and social change. And I know you are part of, different communities. For example, you're on board the BYM board, Brightest Young Minds board, which is super amazing. I saw from your bio as well that you have helped to develop a certain game that gives, financial literacy skills to young people. That's all exciting to know, And I'm dying to know about your story. Where did it all begin for you in terms of leadership? Where did it all begin for you?
Thanks, Prince. So my leadership journey began after my Actuarial Science university degree. I learned that these soft skills that we need in life and in the corporate world is not taught in any school curriculum or in any university degree. So I learned a lot of maths, financial finance, and actuarial science, and I found that there was a gap between university and the working world. And I made a conscious decision to actually learn those soft skills. So you've seen from my background that I am involved in numerous types of extracurricular activities, if you want to call it that, outside of my working world. So being involved in Actuarial Society of South Africa, the System and Technology Committee, so the deputy chair there, the International Actuarial Association Banking Working Group. Also, you'd have seen that I have been mentored to the youth and upskilling them. So I'm passionate about Africa, educational and entrepreneurship, because my heart and soul, blood, sweat and tears is on this continent. So I made a conscious decision to learn and give back to the community in that aspect. And being part of the BYM board does help me do that. And hopefully that can assist the youth of this continent in some shape or form. So I think it all began when I finished starting off university and making that conscious decision to learn about leadership, because it is a critical skill that's needed and it's not necessarily taught in any university undergraduate degree. You need to actually, from when I started off. So you'd have seen from my bio that I've got over a decade of financial services experience. So maybe things have changed since then in the university curriculum.
Right. That is interesting. That is interesting to know. But I have a quick follow-up question, Rajiv. So why education? Like you said, you're very passionate about promoting education, quality education on the continent. Why education?
I think education is a key that will solve a lot of the underlying issues, socioeconomic issues that the continent faces. With the population of about 1.3 billion and 50% of that is less than 25 years. Education is going to get us to where we need to be and also to fulfill our potential. Without it, we can't become leaders in our necessary fields, can't compete with the necessary international powers that there might be India, China, US, Europe, who might have these the educational structures and frameworks in place already, where Africa might be lacking in that aspect. So we need to make a conscious effort to skill ourselves in some shape or form, not necessarily in the traditional tertiary education, but in other shapes and forms. There's numerous ways we can do that in order to fulfill Africa's potential, because it is going to be the future for the next 10, 20, 30 years, if you look at it going forward. And with all the resources that Africa has, we need that leadership to utilize that talent, that capital, human capital, social capital, financial capital. We need that leadership to those skills to actually be the stewards of that, manage it, and actually lead it into the next couple of decades.
Okay, and I guess it is that foresight, the ability to see what Africa is lacking now, and what Africa may need to set us on that platform where we begin to, we excel as a continent. I guess it is on this background that you have that inspiration to be on the board of BYM and be engaged in all the other non-profit stuff that you're doing in South Africa. Bless your work, by the way. So
and yours. And yours.
Right. So I just to digress a bit, I asked you about education because I incline towards that as well. 1 billion Africa for the past 7 years, most of our project has been towards, the Sustainable Development Goal 4, which is promoting quality education. And like you, I also strongly believe that through education, we can empower our people to become leaders in themselves, to create that ripple effect of change that we are hoping to see. To continue, we're dying to know about your big leadership lesson. So tell us, and feel free if you have more than one to share, any lesson that you believe you have experienced that our audience can benefit from?
Thanks. So throughout my corporate career, over the last decade and more, there have been so many leadership lessons that I've learned. As I grew as a person, as I grew within my roles and various roles within various different banks within South Africa, I've worked at 3 of the big 5 or 4 banks within South Africa. And in each role, I've learned different leadership skills and styles. And what I learned is that there is no one single definition of what a leader is. And the skills that a leader needs to have is very vast and wide. As you grow as a person and as you grow in your different roles, you will learn that there's different skills that you need to have and pull on in each situation that you might be in. Leadership is something that you can learn from anybody with that you meet. Could be, it doesn't matter where they are in the organization, how big or small the interaction is, or that meeting, but it all affects the person that you are and your experience. Some of the things that leadership is that there's different types, as I mentioned, which there's transactional leadership, which is more managerial. There's leadership of self as you're starting off. Then as you get more experience, you become a leader of a team, become a leader of an organization. Whether you become a leader of an organization or not, you need to have change leadership. You need to have transformational leadership. You need to have the ability to coach others as you become more senior. You need to be supportive. You need to become a servant leader or a thought leader. So all of the different types of leadership skills need to encompasses you as a person. So your experience is your experience become who you are, and who you are becomes the leadership style that you portray across. So it is that experience that you give to others. That experience could be the way that you become a role model to them or a coach. They look up to you. It is also that where you're able to influence others in that role you're in. That influence can become direct influence, where it could be what you say or do within the organization. It should also be where you're not in the room and people look to you or what you would do in that situation. Leadership is also about being continuously learning, engaging, pushing yourself, pushing your boundaries. It is also about making sure that you learn the new risks that's facing society, those bigger issues that are facing society, and how that impacts your organization and what you are doing to influence the organization to try and mitigate those risks or address those issues. So some of those issues that are facing society, particularly in South Africa, is, besides the COVID situation, is gender-based violence. There is climate issues, climate risk. There's the ESG, environmental, social, and governance issues that we need to come to terms with and see how, as a financial profession, we address those. And even from a personal level, how can we address I address those? There's additional risks like cyber risk and the digital transformation age, where for the next 10 years or longer, I know it's the digital transformation has started, and we're in the fourth industrial revolution. But this fourth industrial revolution is going to occur for the next couple of decades. I'm not sure when the next fifth industrial revolution is going to start. But this whatever decade we now, it's going to form the base for the next for the foreseeable future, and we need to learn those new skills and become leaders in those areas. it's also dealing with those complexities of integrated risks and the ambiguities and uncertainties and unstructured uncertainties of our time and the situations that we're in. And it's providing that confidence, obviously based on our technical skills and our knowledge, providing that confidence of where we'd like society to be or the organization to be within the next 10, 15, 20 years, and providing that vision and getting people to buy into that vision. And that's where leadership and the leadership skills of branding, being able to influence others and being seen as that thought leader and role model is key. So over my leadership career as well, I'm gonna just name or give a few words of some of the positive leadership styles that I've come across. This is not all leaders might adhere to this or come to this, but this is what I think a good leader should have, is the respect for each other. It doesn't matter who you are in the organization. Have respect. Have humility. Be humble. Have confidence. Have the knowledge. Also have the necessary gravitas or confidence to speak up. So there's one thing about doing things right. So that's more of the managerial transactional type of leadership. But for more senior leadership, you need to do the right things. Are we doing the right things? If you're doing the same things over and over again, you're going to get the same results. Probably you've heard that saying. So we need to do things differently in order to get different results, in order to achieve our vision, mission, and our goals as our self. You'll have self goals, you'll have organizational goals, team goals, organizational goals, and society goals. So how are we, or what are you doing, or what are leaders doing now in order to achieve that? There's a saying that I came across by Michael Jordan, and I think that encompasses what leaders should be, is earn your leadership every day. So what are you doing? Earn your leadership every day.
Earn your leadership every day.
Yes.
Awesome.
It's a saying by Michael Jordan. And I think that resonates with me. Because what are we doing today? We've asked a question, what are you doing today to help Africa's greatness, or Africa's, or your organization being the leader tomorrow? That's something that resonates with me. And also as well, leadership, there's something that resonates with me as well, is that leadership is an experience. It's about your experience and how you let others into that experience. Because who you are is all your decisions, the sum of your decisions that you've made over your life, all the experiences, interactions, actions, learnings, people that you've met over your career thus far, and that's the leader that you are. And it is a journey. The leader that I was 10 years ago is not the leader that I am now. I like to think I'm a better leader, and I'd like to think that I'm a better leader 10 years from now. And as I grow, my leadership grows with me.
Wow. First of all, thank you for that. Yes, can you hear me? Awesome.
Yes, I can.
So first of all, thank you for the whole background you were given about the various leadership styles, the types of leadership that you have experienced along the corporate ladder. And you have gone ahead to share very, very essential or core leadership lessons that I believe will, if anyone at all, whether young or old, imbibe these lessons, they're definitely going to be successful, and they are also going to do a lot of good to the society. You mentioned respect. You have mentioned humility. I'm just recapping this so that no one misses it. You've spoken about respect, being able to respect or respecting people we work with, respecting even ourselves, you know, it has a way of changing your outlook. You know, if you don't have that respect for yourself, you don't have that respect for others, I don't know where you're going, right? And so you touch on respect, you touch on humility, you touch on confidence, and then being able to speak up, which is very important. You also touched on Einstein's quote on insanity, which he defines as doing the same thing over and over and expecting, you know, different results. You also mentioned the quote that said, "Earn your leadership every day." Boy, to me, that's action. That is action.
Yes.
You know, when you said it, I was like, okay, so it doesn't mean that on Monday you are a leader, you are all about, and then on Tuesday you go and sleep. You don't practice your leadership out there. You are a totally different person on Wednesday. You are this on Thursday. You are this. So earn your leadership every day. That is amazing. And then you also touch on the fact that it's a journey. It's a journey. And I feel for the young person listening to this, you know, sometimes as young people, we want to see the results immediately we start. You know, like you said, your leadership has definitely improved. We see the icons like, you know, the late Nelson Mandela, Kofi Annan, and we want to become like them in an instant. Right? But it comes with spending 27 years in jail. It's not even funny, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So it's all about starting at some point. So making the decision to be a leader, learning to be a leader, or learning those skills. Some it might come naturally to some people, it might not. Either way, you still need to learn those skills. And it's just about practicing those skills on a daily basis to become a better leader. The youth of today should learn those, besides the technical skills in whichever profession or field that they want to, learn those skills, leadership skills, as early as possible, from school days, in university, and throughout your career. Learn it, start learning it as soon as possible, because we don't want a stage where 10 years from now, when this young African population are older. So I mentioned that 50% of the population is less than 25 years. So as the population grows, there are going to be future leaders. We don't want a leadership gap, and we don't want a leadership crisis. So, but it needs to start now in order to fulfill any risk in that. I would also say to the youth that they should find a mentor or a leadership coach. It could be anybody that they look up to. But a mentor is key for any person in the corporate environment. Find somebody that knows more than you, is in a leadership position, and can teach you your skills and help you shape and guide you into becoming a better leader. Yeah.
Awesome. It's interesting you touch on mentorship. I have it here in my book. I touch on mentorship. You know, the fact that one of my mentors said, you can't be the ladder and the climber at the same time. You know, you need someone to climb on to reach to wherever destination that you want to get. So Rajiv, thanks so much for sharing these leadership lessons. And I hope that, you know, as we go about daily lives, even for myself, I mean, these things will keep resonating. The fact that I need to stay humble, the fact that I need to keep my confidence up, respect, you know, and understand that it is I need to earn my leadership every day. Thanks so much for that. To the last question, I want to know, do you have any last words for our listeners out there? Anything you want to share from your heart to our listeners out there?
Thanks, Prince. Just the last words would be to just continue to be your authentic self. Live up to your highest standards that you would want any of the leaders that you look up to hold. hold yourself accountable and responsible to those high levels of standards and ideals. Also, learn about who you are as a person and how the world works, and leverage your strengths as much as possible. And any strengths or leverage that to become the better leader and a better leader.
Yeah. Awesome. Be your authentic self. Be your authentic self. Discover yourself. And then can you go over the other ones you mentioned quickly?
Live up to your higher standards and ideals. What you would like leader that you look up to hold those standards. Hold yourself accountable and responsible to that. And also just learn about your strengths and leverage your strengths as much as possible to be the best leader that you can. Awesome.
So Rajiv is advising us to do a SWOT on ourselves as and it's not only
all of those
Say again.
All of those management strategic techniques you can apply to yourself, to your and any leadership and any leadership role that you're in. Prince, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity again to share my thoughts and my experience.
My pleasure. Awesome. My pleasure. Thank you.
Share again at some point.
Sure. Rajiv, so thank you so much. On this note, we'll bring the session to a close. Thank you so much for sharing these insights to our audience. And just to recap the last word, listeners out there, we've been advised to do a SWOT on ourselves. So let's take the pain to sit down and then think through ourselves, discover our strengths, our weaknesses, and so on and so forth. Rajiv, on this note, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
I believe you found this conversation interesting. If you would love to hear more, don't forget to subscribe and share the podcast across your network. Until we meet again, stay safe, stay inspired.